Distribution. A business needs distribution channels. Whether it's a service industry, whether it's a retail industry, how do they distribute their goods? How do they get to their customer base? How do they market, in fact, as we'll be looking at later on. So distribution can give them success. And if you've got an established distribution network, you can start to add to the types of products that you would sell through it. For example, I've come across a major global brewery who has now moved quite heavily into the bottled water market. Previously, they just sold beer. Today, 60% of their sales in one of the countries that they're in is actually bottled water. Why? Because where they used to deliver the beer to, they deliver the bottled water today. Location. There is an expression always linked into retailing. It's about location, location, location. And it's true. Who your target market's going to be. And there's some very strange location risks. For example, being on the wrong side of the road. It may sound quite stupid, but people fill up their cars with fuel, usually on their way home, because on the way to work, they're busy. So where do you place your petrol station? On the way home. People go shopping in supermarkets on the way home. So where do you place your supermarket? In a position that somebody who's travelling home can get to easily. Came across one example where the location was actually crazy. It was in a railway terminus, or next to a railway terminus. And the challenge that they were facing with the railway terminus was the supermarket opened at 9 o'clock, but the railway terminus stopped being busy at about 8:30. And then in the evening, when people were going home, 5 o'clock onwards, the supermarket shut at 5. And they wondered why they had very few customers. If you have a manufacturing business, there are all sorts of issues involved, not least of which is getting and maintaining the equipment and having the skills to use it and to get full utilization of equipment. One thing also they need to look at is where to position the factory. The location of that manufacturing unit will be extremely important. Is it close to raw material because there's a cost saving in transportation of that raw material? Or is it close to market? And depending very often on the different costs of transport will set how a business sets up and where it sets up its manufacturing base. And of course, there are benefits of setting up manufacturing bases in free trade zones. Tax advantages could be available to you, but also looking for, if I need a labour force in a manufacturing business, I have to establish my factory where the labour force is. Marketing. Marketing of some businesses, how does the business do it? Some businesses, it's all about marketing. It's about image. So therefore, marketing drives the way the business runs. So looking at that costs money. It's difficult for a lot of SMEs to spend heavily on marketing because major competitors will always have deeper pockets. Perhaps the biggest key success factor of every business are the people. The people who own the business, the people who run the business, the people who work for the business. So looking at the type of skills that are required, having overskilled people is just as dangerous as having underskilled people because they get bored. Where will the people come from? Is there replacement supply if somebody leaves the business? Which is always difficult because if you bring somebody to work for you in your business and then they leave, then they take your business with them.